Hey everyone, my name is Matt Daniel, and you have been following me on Athens, Georgia weather on Twitter. And I have decided to start posting some YouTube videos for you to watch to kind of give you a brief idea of what might be happening with our weather in Athens, Georgia. And I wanted to do a special video today to kind of discuss about the potential snowstorm that we could see tomorrow. The media hasn't really been hyping it because we've been really confused with what the models have been saying. One model was showing a lot of rain, another model was showing a lot of snow. One was colder, one was warmer. We don't know what's going on, but now the models are starting to agree, and they're agreeing towards something that could be potentially dangerous for tomorrow. Maybe not dangerous, but definitely unpleasant. So we're going to be here I'm going to be here to discuss this, and I hope you enjoy this, and I hope you can learn a few things.
Alright, so we're going to go ahead and look at one of the models right now showing us what's going to be happening. This is the GFS model that we look at typically. And in this first frame, this is currently what's going on right now. We have a developing area of low pressure out towards eastern Texas and in Louisiana. And the primary course is for this low to actually get stronger and kind of move from eastern Texas and move sort of southerly into the Gulf, sort of riding upon the Florida Peninsula and the Gulf coasts. And as that low tracks east, this is pretty much 2 a.m. Tuesday morning, the rain is just starting to get into western portions of Georgia, and the brighter these colors means the heavier the precipitation. As we continue into time into Tuesday morning, we can see a lot of this precipitation is now across much of North Georgia. And as we keep continuing, the precipitation still lingers, and quite heavy actually, especially across northwest Georgia, with values of about a half an inch of rain. And the system pushes out slowly into the Atlantic by the Carolina coasts, and we're still experiencing some rain, about maybe 1/10 to 2/10 of liquid precipitation. And that system quickly moves to the north and east towards the New England states, and as it passes out, we have pretty much windy conditions, cold conditions, and then pretty much for the rest of the week it's relatively dry until maybe, as we keep going through time, maybe sometime mid of next week. But that's way too far away, and it's not really worth looking into. So this is pretty much the idea that we're looking at. And it's this low that we're really worried about because it's south of us. In this image, the low is south. So what it's doing is pulling a lot of cold air from up north, and it's traveling down towards Georgia. And it's also bringing in a lot of moisture from the Gulf of Mexico. So we're getting a lot of moisture, we're getting cold air because this storm is actually getting stronger, and that is, unfortunately, is what's going to give us possibly snow. If we're going to go ahead, and I'm going to go into the NAM model, which is something that we typically use. And we're going to kind of get an idea what we're going to look at. But before we go ahead and look at that, I already have these things open. This is the GFS model that we were looking at. These blue bars pretty much indicates how much precipitation that we're going to see. If these bars are green, that means we're expecting to see rain. If they are orange, that means we're not quite sure what it's going to be. And if it's blue, it's saying snow. The orange, I'm assuming, is probably going to be rain, maybe some sleet. I think initially, when the system moves in, we're going to see mostly just rain and maybe some sleet, and then it should eventually change over to snow based on this model. If we drag this and figure out how much liquid precip this is saying that we're going to see at least 0.822 inches of rain, almost an inch. And if you do that equivalent of snowfall rates, and I'm going to start at where the snowfall rates are, it's showing maybe, maybe about 3 to 4 inches of snow. Now, before this model came out, this model itself has been very active. It's been showing a lot of snow for the past 48, 72 hours, whilst the other model, which is the other model, NAM, which is what I usually look for in this type of weather, was showing just all rain. Now we're going to get out of here and look at NAM, the one that I usually look at. And this model was showing all rain pretty much since last night. That's why I was kind of thinking we weren't going to see anything. NAM typically gives us a better idea of what's going on with precipitation, or it has in the past events that I've used, so I'm going to keep using it since it's been pretty reliable for me. It's showing pretty much precipitation wise, it's pretty much agreeing with the other model that we just looked at, showing about 0.85 inches of liquid precipitation. But if you put that in snowfall equivalents, it's showing about 11 to 12 inches of snow. Now, do I think we're going to see 11 to 12 inches of snow? I doubt it. Or are we going to see snow? They're agreeing that we're going to see it, so I'm getting pretty convinced that we're going to see it. How much? I'm not sure yet. Right now, I would imagine 3 to 4 inches is probably a reality. It could be more. And another thing that really concerns me about this is the winds, and I know this is going to be a little bit too much to look at, but when this system comes in, we're looking at really strong winds coming in to our area. We're looking at least sustained winds of about 15 to 25 miles an hour, and I wouldn't be surprised if we had gusts over 40. So imagine heavy blowing snow, very poor low visibilities, lots of wind. I wouldn't say blizzard conditions, but it's going to be really nasty if this scenario actually works out. So that's what we're looking at, and that's what we're worried about. So right now it looks like snow's probably going to happen. These models are now agreeing. This is about the time where they would start agreeing, and now we're kind of got to focus on how much. And the first thing we need to kind of look at is see what the National Weather Service is going to do, what they're going to issue, whether or not they're going to issue advisories or watches.
So in conclusion, these are the things that we're looking at. We're looking at the system moving in pretty much overnight, and most of the precipitation, initially starting as rain, should begin in the early morning hours. I would say around 8 in the morning. And then I'm thinking, based on these model runs, that the precipitation should change over from rain to sleet and then all snow probably after, I would say after 12 p.m. It could be earlier. It's probably going to be later, but 12 p.m. is a good saying. How much? I'm not sure. I'm still waiting for another model run to come in, which I won't get until about 6 p.m. tonight. So once that comes in, then I'll be able to kind of get a better idea of what might be actually happening. Till then, I'm very interested to see what the National Weather Service is going to do about this. They should have a updated forecast discussion probably around 4 or 5 p.m. today, and they might issue a winter storm watch. They might issue a winter weather advisory. I will be shocked if they do not issue anything. I do believe at least an advisory is definitely worth putting in there, but honestly I'm starting to think a winter storm watch is more likely, but these are all my opinions. You don't have to listen to them, but this is what I'm thinking. Once the National Weather Service issues something, I will be first to tweet that, to kind of alert you of what's going to happen, what they think is going to happen. Right now I won't tell you exactly what I think is going to happen. I do think we're going to see snow. I don't think we're going to see a foot of snow, but I do believe that it could be a lot. When it's very hard to forecast a developing low that's getting stronger, because it can reinforce much more colder air than the models were showing, and it can also provide a lot more moisture. And if we have some convective bursts, that could definitely be a lot of snow really fast and with a lot of wind. So just note that temperatures will be above freezing for most of tomorrow. It won't get down to 32, so you don't really need to worry about ice on the roads. The biggest problem will be low visibilities and a lot of heavy, possibly heavy snow. Later that night, Tuesday night to Wednesday night, patchy ice could be a concern, mainly because temperatures are expected to drop at least below 30 degrees or below 32 degrees. So we could see some patchy ice. So just be aware of these situations. we'll see what happens shortly. Just keep following me on Twitter, twitter.com/Athens Georgia Weather. Georgia is GA. And I'll keep you posted as soon as I find something out. I'll definitely be around and sticking here at the computer and figuring this stuff out as we get more information. So hope you learned some stuff. If you have any questions, feel free to send me some questions through Twitter. I'll try to reply to all of them. And have a good day, and hopefully it won't be too bad, but it could. So just be aware of this, mainly because they haven't been hyping this or talking about this at all on TV. So I don't want this to come up as a surprise tonight, which is very possible. And like I said, the models could change really fast. So we'll see what happens. I'll let you go. This is a way too long video. I need to make this a lot shorter. But have a good one. Take care. Be safe. And stay tuned.